The rivalry is back on.
What's going on, Colts fans? Welcome back to the Bring the Juice podcast. It's your boy, Derek Larger, and I know, right off the bat, I understand y'all see the shirt. That's right, repping that Buckeye swag, okay? This weekend, it's the game. What can I say? I'm excited for that. I can't wait for it. I know some of you are not Ohio State fans. Some of you are, some of you aren't. Just depends on where you are and where you grew up. I ain't going to try and trounce on nobody's team here, okay? But I will say this. If y'all are a fan of that team up north, y'all about to get your butts whooped this weekend. I'm just going to keep it straight with you, okay? Now, whether or not Cody gets this up before the game tomorrow, Saturday, I have no idea. I doubt he'll get it up before then, but either way, regardless of what happens, I still think Ohio State's going to win it. That's just not being biased. That's just a professional opinion and a relatively decent, knowledgeable guess if you look at it from the perspective of it all. But anyway, we're not here to talk about the Ohio State game. We're here to talk about the Colts. That's right. I know that we haven't been super active recently with the holidays being around. Everyone can relate to that. It's been a lot of work with being involved in that and just the Colts having a weird set of circumstances over the last few weeks. It's been weird for me specifically. I'm not going to say that I've given up on the team. I'm not, because, and when I mean give up, I don't mean give up on the team as in like, oh, they're beyond anything. No. That's not what I mean. Just more of like what this season has to offer. You know, I just don't know what else is left for this team to get offered because of certain circumstances, obviously. And we're going to get into that here in a little bit. And I'll explain my reasoning as to why, you know, I haven't been as active these last few weeks and us not being as active, not showing a lot of enthusiasm with the Colts at the moment, as a lot of Colts fans have kind of been feeling over the last few weeks. But we're going to get into that here in a minute. So anyway, this is our preview for this game where we are going to be talking about the Titans and the Colts. Give me 1 sec. Want to make sure I get this plugged in or else my battery's going to die and then y'all are going to be without a podcast. But anyway,
yeah, Andrew, this certainly was a setback
obviously,
for the Colts in the battle for the AFC South.
Are going to be facing the Titans this Sunday, another afternoon game. Going to be back in Lucas Oil Stadium where the Colts will try to
next week.
Stay above 500 this time
so
around.
I thought this is kind of how we normally do it and how I want to do
it
with this game.
Certainly an uphill battle from where we were a few weeks ago.
The negatives,
you could obviously mention a lot of different things as to why.
The team going
just 2 weeks ago, I think a lot of people said the Colts pretty much have this one. You know, they stayed relatively healthy. But we're not relatively healthy. It's been a huge issue for the Colts. And I know a lot of people continue to say, it's the next man up. It's the next man up. Folks, I get it. There's a difference between that statement and when you have injury overhaul. Okay? There is such a thing as overkill. And the Colts have that right now, especially on the offensive side of the ball. First couple weeks of the season, it was on the defensive side of the ball. Now it's offensive side of the ball. So the Colts and the Titans, when you look at the injury reports going into Sunday, complete different opposite ends here. The Titans really only have one major injury right now, and that's just one of their safeties that they have right now. So they're going to maybe be missing one of their secondary guys, and that's mostly it. Most of the rest of their guys are going to be playing and not have any major issues in regards to injuries. But we obviously know that the Colts are going to go into this game without T.Y. Hilton, without Devin Funchess, without Paris Campbell, without Marlon Mack, and without Eric Ebron. So you know that your top 4 receiving targets or receiving receivers that you have right now, you're going to be without. You're going to have Jack Doyle, and you're going to have Zach Pascal, and you're going to have Chester Rogers. I'm sorry if I left out a few names, but that's really all we got at this point. You have Naheem Hines, but let's be honest, folks. Frank Reich and this Colts team have not done a good job of getting him involved in the offense this year. It really stinks because I had such high hopes for him. I think he could be so explosive, but we don't use him. We don't use him the way that we should, and it's saddening to me. But either way, the Colts are going to come into this game being the most injury-prone that they've been all season. It's been a while since the Colts have been this banged up right now. I think the last time that the Colts have been this banged up severely to the point where it's being that impactful was last year in the New England game, almost halfway, or not quite halfway through the season. It was earlier in the season in 2018 when Andrew Luck was still coming back. But right now, I just don't know what to expect with this offense. The Tennessee Titans defense has certainly not been, the Tennessee Titans defense has not been super great as of this year. They've certainly been all right, with pass coverage. They've been one of the better defenses when it comes to pass coverage, and they've been decent at getting to the quarterback. Their run defense certainly hasn't been great. They're actually ranked 22nd in the NFL right now in rush defense. So, again, that's another thing that the Colts will try to exploit. We did that pretty well against the Texans and against most teams that we faced. Again, so far this year, the Colts are 4th in the NFL in total yards per game rushing. And with the way Jonathan Williams was able to carry the workload against the Texans, I don't see them trying to slow that down at all. I don't see it at all. I think they're going to definitely continue to try to do that because that offensive line is still actually really healthy, and that's how the run game is. That's how the Colts want to win games. And honestly, that's the only way they can win games right now. The Colts had 2 injuries at wide receiver going into, or no, they actually had one receiver injured the first time that the Colts faced the Titans in week 2, and that was Devin Funchess. Paris Campbell got hurt later in the game, but was still able to contribute when he was in there. Paris Campbell actually caught a touchdown during that game as well. So again, you had T.Y. Hilton at full strength. You had Eric Ebron at full strength. So you had a lot of other receiving options. And right now, the Colts don't have that. They don't have offensive. And the problem with that is we've already seen Jacoby Brissett and his lack of wanting to throw the ball deep. And at this point, the Tennessee Titans are thinking, man, we got a Colts team that doesn't want to throw the ball deep, doesn't really have anybody to throw the ball deep to. So wouldn't it be logical to just put our safeties within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage every time? I mean, that's what I would do. I'm not afraid. If Jacoby Brissett starts launching balls deep, then yeah, I'll start worried about it. But until Jacoby Brissett shows me that he's dedicated to throwing the ball deep, which he hasn't this year, at least not for at least a long while, it seems, then the Colts are going to have to figure out a game plan for this defense right now for Tennessee, because right now this offense is stagnant. This offense is very, very stagnant, and with the number of injuries that continue to pile up on this offense, it's amazing. It really is a shocker. It's absolutely horrendous, and it's absolutely sickening that the team that I love, the team that you all love, is going through this so much. It really is sickening because there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. We're all just in this little dream house, or we're all in this little dream, we're living it right now. And it's not much to really like and enjoy living right now with it, because you have no wide receivers, your best running back's hurt, and you have a quarterback that more and more people are starting to kind of get the feeling that maybe he's not the step in the right direction. I don't know. I've preached this a lot at the beginning of the early season about Jacoby Brissett and what he's been able to do early. And speaking of which, also real quick before I continue, if anyone wants me to return doing the hold your horses segment where I talk about certain things in the Colts community that I see the media talking about or I see our fans talking about, and I should talk about that, explain the reasoning behind it and what I think is going on, please let me know, because I actually do want to start bringing that back. I just kind of forgotten about it and just haven't really been focused on it as much throughout the season. I don't think I've done one since maybe week 4 of the season. So it's been a while. I do want to bring that back, though. I do want to bring that back because there is a lot to talk about with this Colts team right now. But in regards to that, again, let us know in the comments section if you want me to talk more about that, because I actually do kind of want to bring that back. I want to hear what your guys' thoughts are on that and what are some things that I should mention or what some topics I should talk about, because there are a lot of things that I can mention, and I might just do one generalization of one and then just kind of start breaking it down fundamentally as the season continues to go on. But again, we'll get to that. Just let us know down below. But anyway, yeah, the Bring the Juice podcast has definitely been, feeling the effects of what every Colts fan's been feeling the last few weeks, where the Colts are just getting hammered with all this crap, man. It really does stink. It really does. You're starting to feel the effect of everything that's going on, that has happened to the Colts this season. Where did we deserve this? Where did we get this? I know that people are going to start saying, oh, quit making excuses. Oh, quit feeling so sorry. I'm sorry. I have to. I have to, because it's so difficult to just hold that in. Our star franchise quarterback quit on us in the first with 2 weeks left in the regular season, right? That's all done and over with. And then you have your second wide receiver that was supposed to come and be your slot guy, everything or whatever else, your possession guy. He gets down. He's down on IR. Who knows if he'll even come back this season? Because apparently he keeps coming back to practice, but for some reason he's never active. It's been like that for the last 2 weeks. It must have been some pretty severe clavicle injury, because Nick Foles has been back for over 2 weeks now with the same injury, but yet somehow Devin Funchess is just not back. It's frustrating me right now. I don't understand it. And then you had Malik Hooker go down. You had Darius Leonard go down. Pierre Desir hasn't been the same. He's just missed game after game after game after game, and then finally came back and got destroyed by DeAndre Hopkins because he was just not in sync. And then you had the offense start to take hits. Jacoby Brissett had some issues. T.Y. Hilton's missed some games. He'll be possibly placed on IR. We may not see him the rest of this season. Devin Funchess still not back. Paris Campbell's probably has played a combined 4 games this season and hasn't really done much outside of those games. And then Zach Pascal, our undrafted free agent, has to come in and be our star, right? And Eric Ebron's been a shell of himself all year. Jacoby Brissett's not looked amazing the last 3-4 weeks of the season. He's looked stagnant. He looks like he doesn't know where the open man is. And Marlon Mack being out most likely will miss another week or 2. So, folks, I'm giving up. I'm almost giving up here. I'm not saying I give up on this team. Of course not. This is the team I'm going to ride or die for. This is the team I'm going to go and root for every Sunday night. You best believe that on Sunday, I'm going to be rooting for the Colts to just knock the socks off of the Tennessee Titans. I don't even care about what anybody says about, whatever win we get at this point doesn't help our draft status. I don't care about our draft status. I care about the pride of a team and not giving up. This Colts team does not give up. It's not what we do. We're not going to turn into the Miami Dolphins, the Washington Redskins, the Cincinnati Bengals, or any of these teams. We're not going to turn into that. We're not. We're going to win games the best of our ability, however we win them, and then wherever we are at the end of the season with our draft, that's where we are. And live with it. Live with it, folks. I don't care. I don't care about us losing every game from this point on, because if we don't lose, then our draft stock's going to be terrible. I don't care. Accepting defeat is not what a winning team does. It's not what it is. I'm sorry. It's my rant. I'm extremely emotional about it. I'm sorry. Anyway, let me just try to go back on a positive note with this Colts team. I mean, honestly, what could keep us in this game is the fact that the Colts defense has been relatively decent, for the last 4 or 5 weeks. They've actually been relatively healthy. Besides Pierre Desir being out, we've only had a handful of injuries over the last 5 to 6 weeks of the season that have really kind of constricted us. So it's not been terrible over the last few weeks. It's amazing what this defense can do when they're actually relatively healthy. And I expect them to do the same thing when they face Tennessee on Sunday. I know that Tennessee can run the football, but again, the Colts rush defense over the last 5 weeks has been really, really stout. They've been one of the better rush defenses in all of the NFL over the last 3 weeks. And Ryan Tannehill being the quarterback, nobody really has faith in Ryan Tannehill, let's just be honest. So this defense has been a bright spot, and it's amazing because I keep saying this to Cody and everybody else. I keep saying, this team is such full of rookies, man. They're full of rookies playing. I mean, Malik Hooker's still young. He's only in his 3rd year. Darius Leonard's in his 2nd year. Anthony Walker, 2nd year. 3rd year, actually. Bobby Okereke getting great time. He's a rookie. Rocky Singh getting great time. He's a rookie. Kahari Willis, he's a rookie. Marvell Tell. Kamiko Ture before he went out. Ben Banagoo. All these guys, they're getting great time. This is a young defense. This is a young defense full of guys that are young. They're rookies, 2nd, 3rd year guys. I mean, hell, Clayton Geathers is the only guy on the defense that I actually think has a lot of time with this team. He's really the only one. I can't really put it into too many words how many games he's actually played for the Colts. I mean, the man's older, a little bit older. And obviously with how Danico Autry's played this year, I don't think he's giving himself a lot of good things for Chris Ballard to look at. Chris Ballard's going to look at that number and say, 3 sacks? 3 sacks? Last year he had 9 at this point. I mean, what's up? What's up? Why is your production gone down this much? So, I mean, Justin Houston over here being 4 years older than Danico Autry, he's making him look like an idiot. I mean, Justin Houston's out there playing the rocks off of everybody. So his defense has been really good. Hopefully that continues. We're definitely going to be going into a tougher part of the schedule here soon. Hopefully, here in the next few weeks, we can get Devin Funchess back, get Paris Campbell back. Hopefully, the setback for TY is not that terrible. And if Marlon can get back, then we'll be all right. Then we can make something work of that. Obviously, we're going to be missing Eric Ebron and T.Y. Hilton, who are our 2 biggest playmakers on the receiving end. That's just going to hurt. This whole season has been nothing but hurt on the wide receiver aspect. I don't know what you do if you're the Colts. Do you beg the question of drafting a wide receiver 1st round? Do you beg the question of it? I mean, it's a question. I don't know if I should. I don't know if that's the right answer to say yes, we should. But it's definitely a question because T.Y. Hilton's getting older. I mean, his injuries are probably only going to get worse at this point. I mean, it's not like he's getting younger. And Devin Funchess, we don't know about his reliability. I know he's young, and that's a pretty it's an injury that you just can't really prepare for. I don't know if that'll be too much of an issue. Paris Campbell being the best availability is reliability, and you're not there, bro. And not saying that you don't have talent. We just haven't seen it yet because he's just always on the ground. And it's gonna be a question of what the Colts are gonna do with this wide receiver group. So I know, again, I'm sorry. I'm going a little too ranty about this. I'm sorry, guys. This has just been a long week, a long couple weeks, and with the holidays being around, I wish I could have gave you guys a little bit better of a more in-depth, precise podcast on this preview. I'm very sorry about that. I know it's tough. It's only me here right now, Cody, and I always have plans, so it's getting more and more difficult to do podcasts right now, but we're going to get back to the rhythm here soon. Obviously, with Christmas coming up, it makes it even harder. So, I'm gonna be honest. I'm kind of the loner of the group, Yeah. So, I just don't have much going on except just work and doing this stuff. So, I wouldn't trade it for the world, though. Love you guys all to death. I love doing this. I'm so thankful for the opportunity to be doing this because this is exactly what I want to do in my life. Being able to give this out. But anyway, before I get too far into a rant. So, more about just the preview of this game. So, obviously, it being at Lucas Oil on a day game is pretty good. The Colts obviously have a major setback in the injury department as versus Tennessee. But the Colts being at home, being the better coached team, can make something happen with that. I still think that they can. And I'm not a huge fan of Tennessee's offense. I still think they're just not that amazing to me. So I know Derrick Henry's been running the ball really crazy, but Derrick Henry's never really hasn't blown up the Colts offense or defense in a while. So I don't really expect a whole lot until it actually happens. And I just think the Colts will probably try to win in a close, grinded out game again. Unfortunately, Colts fans, I just think that's what we're going to get. I think it's going to be another one of those games that we saw the first time around with the 19-17 game. I think it's going to be another one of those 20-17 games, and I think the Colts will win that one because as much as Colts fans want to say that we should try to lose at this point, some of us, not all of us, there's optimism still for the Colts. And again, like I mentioned, this team just doesn't know how to quit. It's just not in their DNA. And I don't expect them to. I expect them to go out Sunday, even with it being as crippled as they are, go out and do what they normally do, which is grind the ball and into down your throats, just run it through you, and just beat them with physicality. It's pretty much what we're going to try to do. So I'm betting on the Colts to do that and get this W on Sunday because that's what we do. All right, well, that was it for this Tennessee preview for the Colts as well. If you guys enjoyed, let us know down below in the comments. Thank you guys again for hanging in with us and doing all this. I know it's been a while. I know we haven't been as active, but I promise we're going to get back on track. We're going to make things work. I do apologize again, and I appreciate all of you for sticking in there. I hope that I didn't rant too much. Feel free to skip through my few minutes of ranting if that's what you need to do. Again, I'm sorry. Just been a long week. I'm just working a lot too. But anyway, we're going to move on here, and we're going to get to finishing with this episode. We will be sure to bring you a recap of this game sometime next week. Whoever it is that's actually going to be able to do it. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening to the Bring the Juice podcast. Thank you all so much again, and go Colts.